Imagine a place, Mediterranean sun, desert sunsets, and more hummus trade deals than you can handle, you know. A place where ancient knights argue with Bedouin nomads over the best way to roast a goat, and where the national bird is a falcon wearing a tiny life vest. It sounds like a fever dream you'd have after eating questionable seafood, but tonight, we're making it a reality. We're taking two countries that have absolutely no business being together and smashing them into one glorious, chaotic, and frankly delicious mess. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the grand geopolitical experiment you never knew you needed. Tonight, we're merging Malta and Jordan. Yes, that's right. A tiny, Catholic EU member island nation in the Mediterranean, and a sprawling Muslim monarchical kingdom in the heart of the Middle East. Geographically impossible? Absolutely. Historically spicy? You have no idea. Culturally delicious? Oh, you better believe it. We're going to explore what would happen if these two unlikely partners tied the knot. So grab your Pastizzi, pour yourself some sweet mint tea, and prepare for a journey into a world of limestone fortresses with desert views, EU regulations that require a blessing from a sheikh, and a national identity crisis so profound it would make a teenager seem well-adjusted. This isn't just a thought experiment, it's a blueprint for the most beautifully dysfunctional nation on Earth. Let's dive into the top 5 wild things that would happen if Malta married Jordan. Right, let's start with the real estate. What happens when you slam a fortified Mediterranean harbor city into a region known for its ancient desert citadels? You get a glorious architectural migraine. Picture this, the grand harbor of Valletta, but instead of just seeing other Maltese towns across the water, you're looking at a bustling souk sprawling up a hillside, reminiscent of Amman's old city. The air would be thick with the smell of sea salt, diesel from the mega yachts, and the intoxicating aroma of 1,000 different spices you can't name but definitely want to eat. The city planning meetings would be a spectacular disaster. You'd have Maltese architects, obsessed with their honey-colored limestone and Baroque balconies, sitting across from Jordanian urbanists trying to figure out where to park the camels. We must preserve the sightlines to the bastions, one would argue. Yes, but the camels need shade, and that bastion is casting a shadow on my favorite falafel stand, the other would retort. It would be a beautiful symphony of conflicting priorities. Imagine the daily commute. You could take a traditional Maltese dgajsa, one of those colorful little water taxis, across the harbor, disembark, and immediately have to haggle with a guy selling carpets who insists his wares can fly. The historic forts, once manned by the Knights of St. John, would now have state-of-the-art Wi-Fi, not for strategic defense, but so tourists can upload their shawarma Pastizzi fusion wrap photos to Instagram with the caption, "Zhu Chu, Crusader Chic." This new mega city, let's call it Vallettaman, would be a living paradox. You'd have elegant, centuries-old European palazzos standing shoulder to shoulder with bustling, chaotic markets where the price is merely a suggestion. The soundscape would be a mix of church bells, the call to prayer, and the incessant honking of taxis who believe traffic laws are a personal affront. It would be loud, confusing, and utterly magnificent. And think of the history. Malta, the stalwart defender of Christendom, now sharing a border with a city that was part of the Decapolis under Roman rule. You could spend your morning exploring a Neolithic temple older than Stonehenge, and your afternoon wandering through Roman ruins that once saw legionaries pass through. This mashup isn't as far-fetched as it sounds when you consider their modern roles. Malta joined the EU in 2004, becoming a meticulous, rule-following member of the club. Jordan, meanwhile, has masterfully positioned itself as a key diplomatic hub in a notoriously volatile region, the Switzerland of the Middle East, if Switzerland had more sand and significantly better food. So you'd have a city that is simultaneously a gateway to Europe and a stable anchor in the Middle East. It would be the world's most important and most confusing intersection. The port, EU-flagged ships offloading German cars right next to dhows with spices from Yemen. Customs officials would need degrees in international law, theology, and advanced haggling. And the national anthem? Forget it. You can't just slap the Maltese and Jordanian anthems together. One is a stately European march, the other a proud Arab hymn. The result would sound like a composer having a seizure. You'd need more brass, probably an ode, and definitely a moment in the middle where everyone stops to drink tea. It would be a mess. A beautiful, glorious, deafeningly patriotic mess. Now let's talk about the weather, because in our new nation of Giordalta, the forecast would be less of a science and more of a daily existential crisis. One day you're enjoying a perfect 75-degree Mediterranean afternoon, sipping an espresso on a limestone balcony overlooking the sea. The next morning, you wake up to find your espresso has a crunchy, sandy texture, because a rogue Sirocco wind decided to import half of the Wadi Rum Desert onto your patio. Packing for a holiday here would be an absolute nightmare. Your suitcase would be a bizarre collection of contradictions. You'd need swim trunks and a snorkel, but also a heavy-duty scarf to wrap around your face in case of a sandstorm. Sunscreen with SPF 50 would be essential, but so would a pair of military-grade camo boots for that impromptu desert trek. Tourists would look less like they're on vacation and more like they're preparing for a multi-terrain triathlon.
The local news weather report would become must-see TV. Good morning, Giordalta. Today's forecast is sunny with a high of 80 degrees on the coast, but we have a 40% chance of a biblical-level sandstorm moving in from the east around 3 p.m. So, get your beach time in early and maybe reinforce your windows.
Frank, how's the 5-day outlook? Thanks, Susan. The rest of the week looks like a battle between a gentle sea breeze and the wrath of an angry desert god, with the potential for flash floods on Thursday if the two can't sort it out.
This climatic schizophrenia would force some incredible innovation. Maltese engineers present cutting-edge desalination. Jordanian desert preservation experts discuss Arabian oryx migratory patterns and dune integrity. It would be a fusion of high-tech water solutions and ancient ecological wisdom. The national conversation would be dominated by water. Build another desalination plant or revive Nabatean water channels. Malta has long turned seawater into drinking water. Jordan is one of the most water-poor countries on the planet, navigating complex water-sharing agreements. Together, they could become a global superpower in water tech. They'd be exporting not just olive oil and phosphates, but blueprints for survival in an increasingly arid world. The new nation would be a living laboratory, floating solar farms on the sea on one side, perfectly tuned drip irrigation for desert tomatoes on the other. Of course, downsides. The car wash industry would be booming. The national sport? Sandcastle building, forever threatened by waves or buried by gusts. It teaches impermanence. Very on-brand. If you think politics or climate are the biggest challenges, you have clearly never witnessed a debate over a national dish. In Giordalta, the culinary landscape would become a delicious and fiercely contested battleground. In one corner, Malta's champion, the Pastizzi. A flaky, diamond-shaped pastry filled with ricotta cheese, mushy peas. Ultimate handheld snack, national treasure, a greasy, glorious gift from the heavens. In the other corner, Jordan's contender, Mansaf. Lamb, jamid sauce, rice, and flatbread. It's a celebration, a symbol of hospitality, a communal experience, traditionally eaten with your right hand. One is a quick, on-the-go snack. The other is a multi-hour commitment to food and fellowship. This is not a merger. It's a culinary collision. The Pastizzi represents our nation's efficiency and portability. But Mansaf represents our generosity and community. The compromise? A giant family-sized pastis filled with Mansaf. Nobody knows how to eat it. It's structurally unsound, but my God, everyone is Instagramming it. Street food would become an unofficial embassy. One truck sells hot, crispy pastizzi. Another dishes bowls of hummus and falafel sandwiches. The lines would reveal the political mood. If the Pastizzi line is longer, people feel more European and efficient. If the falafel line wins, the vibe is more Middle Eastern and communal. A daily, edible referendum on national identity. And this brings us to a critical diplomatic issue: utensils. The Maltese are firmly in the fork and knife camp. Jordanians are masters of eating gracefully with their hands. Do you use the fork and offend your host? Or dive in with your hands and create a yogurt and rice disaster on antique Maltese lace? Customs would form. A hybrid etiquette would emerge. Perhaps the main is eaten with your hands, but a fork must be used for the cheese course. Mansaf-proof bibs become standard wedding gifts. Restaurants, utensil or no utensil sections, way higher stakes than smoking, non-smoking. Fusion cuisine goes off the rails. Rabbit stew seasoned with za'atar, served with tabbouleh. Kanafe made with ricotta instead of nabulsi. A culinary declaration of war. Every meal, delicious, confusing, possibly sacrilegious. Start with strong coffee and a flaky pastry, a massive communal feast for lunch, end with fresh grilled fish by the sea, if you can navigate the etiquette without causing an international incident. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. How would this place actually be run? On one side, Malta, a proud EU member, deeply familiar with bureaucracy. Regulations on the curvature of bananas, environmental impact assessments for a garden shed, and forms. So many forms. The EU runs on paperwork like a car runs on gasoline. On the other side, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, balancing modern governance with ancient tribal protocols and hospitality. In Jordan, business gets done over a cup of incredibly sweet tea. Relationships and respect are the currency. A sheikh's blessing can be more powerful than a notarized document. Now imagine these two systems trying to merge. It would be a bureaucratic masterpiece of beautiful chaos. A 47-page document printed in 3 languages requiring 2 forms of photo ID, a utility bill, and your grandmother's birth certificate, and 3 separate tea ceremonies with 3 officials before processing. The civil service would be retrained. Maltese bureaucrats go on hospitality courses. Lesson 1. Before denying a permit, offer tea and ask about family. Lesson 2. The pending file is not unresolved paperwork. It's people you still need to have coffee with. Conversely, Jordanian officials endure seminars on procurement and GDPR. Picture a tribal leader being told to fill Form 11B-7 to authorize tents and get 3 written quotes. The confusion, art, legislative sessions, incredible. A debate about fishing quotas, classic EU, pauses an hour while a respected elder mediates which MP brings the dates next time. The speaker needs the legal acumen of a Supreme Court justice and the patience of a kindergarten teacher. The EU's red tape frames out corruption. Jordanian hospitality humanizes the machine. It's checks and balances by another name. The rule of law balanced by the rule of, let's have tea and sort it. Malta harmonized laws for years. Jordan's monarchy balances reforms with traditions. Both are experts in adaptation. This Frankenstein's government is the ultimate test. Commercial disputes mediated by elders, then ratified by an EU-compliant body. Slow, confusing, but everyone feels heard. Also, everyone stays very well hydrated from all the tea. The national motto practically writes itself: in rules we trust, but in hospitality we believe. A system running on paperwork and personal honor, regulations and relationships, inefficient, contradictory, and deeply human. With a country this unique, you know who's coming next. The tourists. And not just any tourists. Every travel blogger, every influencer, every thrill seeker looking for their next bizarre profile picture would descend upon Jordalta. The tourism slogan writes itself, Jordalta, where the Mediterranean meets the Martian. Demand goes insane for that perfect half-sea, half-desert sunset shot. Hotels rebrand with buzzword salads, the Phoenician Sands Resort and Spa. The Bedouin Beach Club, An authentic, ancient modern experience. 2 holidays for the price of 1. Day trip, scuba a shipwreck morning, learn Roman mosaics afternoon, sleep under Bedouin stars. Exhausting, disorienting, unforgettable. Boom leads to identity crisis. Are we European, Middle Eastern, beach destination, or desert adventure? The National Souvenir Shop, beautiful chaos, amphorae and sunglasses, sand-filled snow globes, and a t-shirt that says, "Where am I?" in 3 languages. Okay, a quick pause. If you are loving this glorious geopolitical car crash, the idea of a sand-filled snow globe, do me a solid, smash that like button. Seriously, hit it. Subscribe for more wildly specific hypotheticals like this one. We've got more chaos to cover. Back in 2 ticks. Now, where were we? Ah yes, the soul of the nation. The flag would be a design nightmare. Malta's red-white with the Jordanian black-white-green-red and star, it ends up looking like a QR code having a panic attack. Too European. Not enough pan-Arab symbolism. It looks like a confused Italian tablecloth. The currency? The Jordinar lira. One side, the Hashemite king. Other side, a Grand Master of the Knights of St. John. Exchanging money feels like trading historical figures. I'll give you 2 King Husseins for a Jean de Valette. Every tourist becomes a reluctant history nerd. And the national sport. Malta loves water polo. Jordan loves football, horsemanship, camel racing. The only logical compromise? Water polo on camels. Impossible, impractical, deeply cruel to camels. They don't swim, but the greatest show on earth. Ambitious, slightly insane, probably not going to work. Admire the effort. So there you have it, the glorious, chaotic, and utterly magnificent union of Malta and Jordan. We've had coastal cities arguing with desert souks. We've had climate forecasts that need a therapist. We've seen culinary summits devolve into Pastizzi and Mansaf shouting matches. We've navigated a government that runs on EU regulations and sweet tea, and we've witnessed a tourism boom that left an entire nation asking, who are we, and why are we playing water polo on camels? It's a nation of beautiful contradictions, a place held together by limestone and loyalty, by bureaucracy and blessings, by Pastizzi and hospitality. It's a testament that even the most unlikely pairs can create something wonderful, even if deeply, deeply confusing. The lines we draw on maps are less interesting than the connections we could make if we ignored them for a second. Malta plus Jordan, less map, more mood. If this made you laugh, or at least made you hungry for both Pastizzi and Mansaf, then please do the holy trinity of YouTube. Like, subscribe, and, most importantly, tell me in the comments which 2 countries I should merge next. I'm looking for the most chaotic combination possible, so do your worst. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another geopolitical fever dream.